Mike. Thank you. Welcome to the Campbell's, City of Campbell Planning Commission meeting of February 11th, 2025. By way of introductions, my name is Matt Comcar, and I'm the chair of the Planning Commission. I've called the meeting to order, and can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Majewski, absent. Commissioner Scissor,
Here.
Commissioner Ostrowski,
Here.
Commissioner Buckbinder,
Present.
Commissioner Crane,
Here.
Vice Chair Fields,
Present.
Chair Camcar.
Here. Thank you. And let's move on to minutes. Has anyone had a chance to read the minutes? Are there any corrections or edits? Seeing none, do I have a motion for approval?
I'll move to approve the minutes of January 28th, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. I have a motion and a second. A roll call, please.
Commissioner Scissor,
Aye.
Commissioner Ostrowski,
Abstain.
Commissioner Buckbinder,
Aye.
Commissioner Crane,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fields,
Aye.
Chair Camcar.
Aye. Thank you for that. Communications and agenda. Are there any communications or agenda modifications?
Chair Camcar, Commissioners, happy to report no additional communications or agenda modifications.
Okay, thank you for that. Any oral requests? This portion of the meeting is reserved for individuals wishing to address the Planning Commission on matters of community concern that are not listed on the agenda. In the interest of time, the chair may limit speakers to 5 minutes. Please be aware that state law prohibits the commission from acting on non-agendized items. However, the chair may refer the matter to staff for follow-up. Are there any oral communications? Online? None. Okay, seeing none, close the oral communications. And I'm going to move on to our public hearing. The item we are hearing today is, let's see, 110 North Milton Avenue. It's the variance to a fence requirement. The public hearing to consider application of Ryan Salas-Mendy to legalize an existing unpermitted 7-foot tall fence and vehicular gate to 0 setback. Staff? I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good evening. Yes, this is a public hearing to consider an application of a variance. This is coming off the Planning Commission's November 11th, 2024 meeting where the commission considered a fence exception application for the very same fence. Based off the conclusion of that discussion, the commission advised the applicant to withdraw the fence exception and reapply for a variance, which was determined the only means to approve the fence as currently designed. As the commission may remember, the project site is located on Milton Avenue, right behind the community center. Here we do have a picture of the fence with its gate adjacent to the city's community center property. And a site plan for reference showing that that fence is at that property line where it otherwise would need to be at least 5 feet behind and also cut back at the driveway side triangle. And then as required by the zoning code, the applicant did provide findings in support of his request for the variance, providing a detailed explanation for the required findings, which are based off the state statute that governs variances in the state of California. Additionally, the applicant provided some information on the proposed safety measures that was also included in your staff report. That was inclusive of installation of mirrors and a beeping system. So if the Planning Commission is accepting of the applicant's findings, you may adopt the resolution approving a variance to legalize the existing unpermitted fence. And the staff has included a couple of conditions of approval, notably that he must obtain a building permit for the electric gate within 30 days. The Planning Commission's action being final, which is 10 days after today. And then separately, he would also need to execute an indemnity agreement to the satisfaction of the city attorney, releasing any liability of the city. And that would need to be executed within 30 days of the approval or before issuance of a building permit, whichever may occur first. And with that, I will take any questions the commission may have.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions for staff? Okay, let's start from this end. Commissioner Booker.
Can you go into a little more detail about exactly what kind of indemnification is involved here? Is this, so just, I'm gonna say what I think is going on, you can tell me if I'm wrong. The reason we have site triangles is to make things safer for pedestrians and bicyclists and drivers and pretty much everyone, so they can see around the corner. Because people won't be able to see around the corner if somebody gets injured or damages something. And they say, hey, the city said that you didn't have to be able to look around this corner. We're saying that they have to agree that they'll take the blame for that or hold the city. How do you make it so that people hold the city harmless for this decision?
It's a contractual obligation. If the city were sued, we would tender the defense then to the applicant, in this case, to the property owner, and it would be up to them to provide a defense for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Craig.
just, I know, Daniel, I know, of course, I remember our discussion well, and I know this is a variance, and we got variance findings, and we point out that this is an unusual situation, and we make the point that we're not considering across the board leniency. But so my question is for you or for Rob, I mean, because even the applicant showed pictures of fences right in their neighborhood that are not conform, just so many non-conforming fences and driveways like this in the city. Can the city at all consider some change to our rules and regulations to, make this, because this will come up again. I don't see how we can deny anybody else.
Good, yeah, and during the last meeting, got feedback from individual commissioners and others that there are numerous examples where fences built don't meet the codes. I'd say we could put on the work plan. At this point, it would be lower on the work plan. We're putting a lot of horsepower into, of course, our housing programs and economic development to come back to look at fence areas, especially if the fence standards are out of alignment with what community character is and accepted today. We could adjust that, but I'd say it's probably something that wouldn't happen in the next year, probably the next 1, 2 years.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Zissou.
Yeah, just a clarification on the indemnity agreement. This is, if I read this correctly, is specific to the driveway. It's not about the site around the corner, which is down the ways, and that you already found that that the sight line on the corner was, if I read that correctly in the agenda, that the sight line on the corner was acceptable because of existing trees and the narrowness of the property. So if I read the indemnity agreement, this would be specific to safety issues associated with the driveway and the gate. Am I correct?
That was the primary staff concern, was the driveway, though I honestly don't recall the exact details of the discussion on the 30 by 30 site triangle at the intersection corner. Because the fence is not, generally there, your concern is moving in the direction northbound on Milton, moving forward. Yeah, I mean, I guess, Bill, we would probably incorporate both aspects of the fence into the agreement.
Okay.
Normally, when we request an indemnity agreement, it provides a broad indemnity for any action taken against the city arising out of the approval of the project.
Okay, except that here it says specifically at the very end of the agenda item, due to the fence's placement within the driveway vision site triangle, the potential for collision with a pedestrian or cyclist or an existing vehicle within the public right of way. Okay, so I read that as you're being specific. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but you're being specific to the driveway and the driveway, the gate.
Looking at the way the condition itself is worded, it says that the property owner shall enter into an indemnity agreement to the satisfaction of the city attorney to indemnify and hold harmless the city against any potential liability stemming from this approval. So that is
Oh,
wrong.
okay. I didn't see where that was. Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Commissioner, thank you.
I had a question on, the comments around the work plan, the focus on the housing and development. So this is something that might be able to be rolled into that. And thinking about that in context of developments and privacy, kind of maximizing. I think in this case, it's a good example of maximizing the potential for using land and space when we're being asked by the state to put multiple units on properties, maximize the use of properties, which I think is why people are putting their fences at their property.
Could be. Again, without getting into a policy debate on relationship of fences and houses and one supports or works against each other. I would just say at this point, I mean, to give a little bit of insight, I have Daniel working half-time on a very big omnibus ordinance that's going to do a lot of cleanups to our code that's coming to you shortly. And I have Senior Planner Stephen Rose working on a very big ordinance on clean up our multifamily development standards. So in terms of, fortunately, just standard planner staffing bandwidth, there's just so much throughput this time. However, the community development director always encourages the planning commission to explore ad hoc subcommittees if you're interested in doing some research and bringing back some policy options that could push the ball forward on this item. Just a matter of, how much staffing we have at this time.
Thank you. Vice Chair Fields?
My questions on indemnity were answered, so.
Thank you. So, I need a clarification on indemnity. So, the property owner will indemnify the city, meaning that if there were any kind of a judgment that was granted as a result of the lawsuit, the property owner will have to pay it. So whether they had a strong defense or a weak defense or whatever, city is off the hook, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now I understand. Thank you.
Chair, can I just ask, Bill, do we have a lot of these agreements, indemnity agreements, Campbell?
Well, it depends on how you define a lot. We do them regularly in larger projects. I don't know that we do them that often in a project of this size, but this is rather unique. I don't know if Daniel knows better how frequently we include an indemnity provision. It's reasonably common is all I could say.
I mean, it's
May I ask, is it tied often to when we do variances like this? Is that what it's usually tied to?
well, variances aren't common generally. So typically, as Bill mentioned, an indemnity agreement requirement is typically tied to a larger project or a project where there's a lot of controversy, where there could be litigation. And in this case, it's just an unusual circumstance that's being presented.
I have one more question. I assume the applicant
I'm
is
sorry.
agreeable to this.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Cicero, please, hold on a second. Were you done? Sorry, go.
Yeah, excuse me. I assume the applicant is agreeable.
Yes, he has been informed, and again, the exact terms will be to the satisfaction of the city attorney. Ultimately, that is not to the property owner's satisfaction himself. He does not have to execute the agreement. He does always have the right to not accept the variance and construct a conforming fence.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none? Any discussions? Not yet? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta go to public comments.
Yes.
Okay, so opening a public comment. So applicant presentation. You can have up to 5 minutes and let us know what you think of the conditions and.
How do I put this right? So, I would say first, thank you to the commission, thank you to the staff. I don't think we've always seen eye to eye, but I appreciate the hard work that went into all of this. It doesn't thrill me to sign an indemnity agreement, and obviously we have to see the terms of it to be sure we could sign it, but it's a reasonable step for the city to take. You're doing something a little extraordinary, so we're prepared to meet you there to do that. But of course, the narrower and more clearly defined it can be, the better for us. That's almost goes without saying. But yeah, I think mostly we're grateful that that the process worked itself out. So thank you very much.
Wonderful, thank you. Any other public speakers? None. Anybody online? No? Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Any questions from the applicant, for the applicant? No. Closing the public hearing. Okay, back to staff. Anything else? No? Okay, commission discussion?
Sure. I'm glad this has gotten resolved. I recall the previous meeting that we had on this, and so I'm glad that we were able to come up with a resolution. And I kudos to Commissioner Ostrowski for jumping in with the variance idea.
Me and Bill collaborated.
And that we can, you know, have worked it out. And I'm totally in favor of going this route.
Yeah, I'm also in favor, and nice to see some options that are amenable to all parties involved.
Good. Commissioner Bookbinder? Anything?
It looks like this is what we asked to brought back, and sounds like we managed to get everyone to meet somewhere in the middle, so it sounds good to me.
Okay.
Supportive.
Perfect. And for me as well, I think everybody did a great job, staff and attorney, and I'm glad you guys have a choice now, and that's wonderful. And, you know, I wish this could be like a model for other projects that are in a unique position, like our applicants, you know, that deserve variances to make things work. I'm supportive. With that, if we could have a motion and then.
All right, I guess I'll move for a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Campbell to approve a variance to legalize an existing unpermitted 7-foot tall fence and vehicular gate with a 0-foot setback along the street side property line where a 3.5-foot tall fence is otherwise allowed on property located at 110 North Milton Avenue, file number PLN 2024-75.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. You can have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Scissor,
Aye.
Commissioner Ostrowski,
Aye.
Commissioner Buckbinder,
Aye.
Commissioner Creighton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Fields,
Aye.
Chair Camcorp.
Aye. Okay, wonderful. So with that, the motion passes unanimously. And congratulations. Okay, next item, I think we have, was there a report from, or actually, there was no report. Well, new business, you know, report from Community Development Director, please.
Sure, I almost didn't want to give a report. I think you set a new land speed record tonight, 21 minutes start to finish on a planning commission meeting.
Yeah.
But I'll toss in something just to make your attendance valuable. I guess on the last time, not to be tone deaf, if our work plan does free up, we put this as a priority, number one. Number two, if we did start to get more of these requests, obviously, I think we start to have as a priority. Last thing we'd want is endless fence exception requests coming to the planning commission. So just put some color to actually tracking this item and seeing how we would put it on the work plan. The only other thing I was going to report on our next council meeting, we have a few items that might be of interest. We did adopt an urgency ordinance to implement SB 450. These are new requirements with respect to SB 9 in single family neighborhoods. So we're extending that ordinance. Daniel's working on that. We are adopting a new urgency ordinance to implement our ADU provisions. And just of note, to date, with ADU provisions, the approach the city has taken, I think all 482 cities in California have, is you look at the state codes, you adopt them into your municipal code, you make some adjustments where you have discretion. And the advantage there is the Campbell community can read it and customers and your staff knows it. The regulatory framework is so fluid at this point that there are legislative updates every year. And there are new announcements by HC, generally quarterly or monthly, that we end up chasing our tail, my quote, on updating ordinances. So we're adjusting to approach kind of like the building code. We just adopt state law. A few areas where it's clear we can make exceptions, we acknowledge that. And then the staff is creating bulletins just to take the state code, which my professional opinion is highly undecipherable if you read it, and digesting it into what it means for standards for the Campbell community. So it allows us to pivot a bit more fast to HCD interpretations or state law. It just adjusts to this environment where the laws are changing constantly. And the last one, happy to report, I think I reported this before, we are working on with the 4 other West Valley cities, collaborating together on looking at the feasibility of standing up more emergency temporary shelter options for our unhoused community. So we do have an MOU that's going to the city council next meeting. And the MOU would also go to Cupertino, Los Gatos, Saratoga, and Montserrat. We collaborate on the study. And that's all I have to report.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I think that's all on our agenda. I will adjourn the planning commission meeting to the February 25th, 2025, 7 p.m. meeting. Thank you.
I think that's